All right, welcome to our first flipped video for United States History, Grade 10. I'm Mr. Loebner, and this is
Jack.
my son Jack. And we are going to talk about today the time period from Christopher Columbus all the way up to which war?
The Revolutionary War.
Revolutionary War, that's right. And this is just a little review of information you learned in 8th grade. So we're going to start with Christopher Columbus in 1492. Columbus
sailed from Spain.
It's a rhyme.
Oh, I don't know the rhyme.
Oh my god. The ocean blue. You are not my son. So Columbus came over 1492. How many ships did he have?
7?
Oh my god. You should not be in this video. 3. The Mayflower was one of them, right?
Yeah.
No. Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Why? I hate you so much.
All right. Tell me a little bit about...
It's been a long time during the summer.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the people that Columbus came into contact with.
He came into contact with Native Americans that he didn't really treat well.
You can say that because what did he make them?
Slaves.
He did. So the first slaves of the Europeans were the Native Americans. And what percentage of Native Americans will be wiped out by the Spanish and the British and the French and the Portuguese?
90%.
90%.
And also because of diseases like smallpox.
That's
like that.
right. That's what you had once. So
No, it wasn't.
all right. So we are going to see a whole complete change of North and South America and Central America. People that inhabited all of these lands were Native American, and they will become a new blend of Spanish and Portuguese with Native American, with African. The British will come over, the French. It's just going to completely transform. Yeah, we get it. Here's an image of the Columbian Exchange, and we're going to see products going across the Atlantic Ocean, back and forth from North America, South America. What are the two continents on the other side? On the right.
That is Africa and Europe.
Africa and Europe. Okay, very good. And we're also going to see a triangular trade, so lots of goods and peoples and diseases will be transported across the oceans. Lots of money to be had for the Europeans? Absolutely. So we'll talk more about this in class. So how many English colonies were there? Since this is American history, let's start there.
There were 13 to start with.
And what was the first one?
The first one was in Virginia, in Jamestown.
Very good. So the very first colony was in 1607, the first permanent colony. And in 1619, they're going to form the House of Burgesses. So that's the first example of democracy in the New World. What's ironic, though, the year that democracy starts in the New World, we're also going to see the beginning of what?
Tobacco and slavery.
Yeah, I was underlining slavery, buddy. That was a hint. So slavery will ironically come in the same year as democracy. And then 13 years later, another group of people are going to go. They're going to land on Plymouth Rock, 1620. Those people were the...
Pilgrims.
Right. And why were they coming? What were they seeking?
Religion. Religious beliefs.
Right. So religious freedom, religious beliefs. Good job. So slavery in America. How many of the colonies had slavery?
Pretty much all of them, yeah.
All of them. Even Connecticut?
Yep.
Even Connecticut. So it was... The majority of slaves could be found in the South. And what kind of rights did slaves have?
None.
No rights at all. They could be bought, they could be sold. Could they be beaten by their owners?
Yes. Whipped.
Yep, the women could be attacked by the men. Could families be sold apart?
Yes.
Absolutely. One of the true horrors in the history of mankind. So why did these white people do it? What did they have to gain from it?
Harvesting crops and money.
So, and who had to do all the work for the crops?
The slaves.
The slaves, absolutely. So this is going to fasten the beginning of development in America. Slavery was a big part of that. Also, there weren't enough workers in Europe to meet the needs of everything happening in the Americas, so slaves filled that need. Here's an image of the 13 colonies. I'm sure most people have them memorized. They stretch from Georgia all the way up to New Hampshire. And in colonial America, there were lots of threats, right? Was there a threat of Native Americans? Absolutely, who were trying to defend their lands. And which government is protecting the new American colonists?
The Parliament. British
Right,
Parliament.
the British Parliament. Very good. This is the period also known as the Enlightenment, and this is the 17th and 18th centuries. It's going to start over in Europe and spread, and that's where people are trying to make improvements with the church and science and philosophy. Don't do that, Jack. And we're going to see that Enlightenment spread here. Who's the guy in 1776 that wrote "All men are created equal"? We celebrate in July on the 4th.
Of July.
Who was that?
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. There you go. So we'll talk more about the Enlightenment later. So there's going to be a big problem in the Ohio Valley, which is over here. And whose land is this right here?
It's Native Americans' land.
Right, and who took it from them? Not the British, but the
French.
The French. And British colonists are going to want to take this land here, and that's going to lead to which war?
Oh, the 7-Year War or the French and Indian War.
Nice job. So the French fought the Indians in this war, correct?
No. They were alongside each other, fighting the British and the colonists who
Very
wanted the
good.
land.
All right, so this war is going to take place all over North America, even spread to Europe and also to India, and France and Britain are at war with each other. And it was an incredibly expensive war. The British were victorious, but in today's money, how much did this war cost?
$1 billion.
Say it like Dr. Evil.
I want $1 billion.
Nice. You sound just like him. So the Treaty of Paris is going to end this war in 1763, and the British are going to gain all of this new land east of the Mississippi River. So all of this land, which was France, goes to the British, and they also get this land up here. What's that called?
Canada.
So it's going to double the size of British North America and make the British the most powerful country in the world. So how do you pay for this war now, which cost $1 billion in today's money?
The king and Parliament decide to tax the colonists.
Right. And what was the big battle cry for the colonists?
Taxation without representation.
No taxation without representation. Right. So they don't want to pay taxes if they're not represented where? You had
in
mentioned
Parliament?
it. Yeah, very good. In Parliament. They want to be part of the lawmaking process. Stop it, Jeff. So the Stamp Act was heavily protested, and this required that all the mail and newspapers and any official documents have what on it?
A stamp.
A stamp. Very good. And a person would have to buy the stamp with official British money, and if they didn't do it, then they could be subject to the tax collectors. So did the colonists revolt?
Yes, they did.
They did. It was extremely unpopular. The purpose of the tax was to pay for the British troops placed in the colonies. People believed they didn't really need this protection anymore, plus they were not represented, so they're going to protest. Benjamin Franklin drew this very famous drawing. Is a snake powerful and strong?
Mm-hmm.
But what if the snake is not connected?
Then it can't function.
It can't function. It can't live. It's weak. But if all of these parts were together, that represents a very powerful animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these would represent all of the what?
The colonies.
Very good. 13 colonies.
And the letters he wrote are very friendly and nice.
That's right. Join or die.
That's very friendly.
I like it. So in 1770, we're getting closer to a revolution, which is when the Americans are going to overthrow the British king. The Boston Massacre occurred.
Which wasn't really a massacre.
That is true. 1773, there was the Boston Tea Party, which really wasn't a party either, right?
It was a hasty one with a bunch of angry colonists.
That's right. And war finally breaks out on April 19th. Why is that an important day?
Because it's the start of the Revolutionary War. It started in Lexington and Concord.
It's also your mother's birthday. Clearly, you don't know that.
Whoa! I didn't even know my mother's birthday.
Hopefully,
Surprise,
she's not watching
surprise.
this. So 1775 to 1783, that is the length of the Revolutionary War. And 1 year into the war, Thomas Jefferson wrote,
The United States of America.
the Declaration of Independence. That's good memory there, buddy. It was like 5 minutes ago.
I had such a brain fog.
Yep.
I'm
All right.
way better at this.
And the war is going to come to an end in 1783 with the Treaty of Paris signed, and that's when the United States of America officially became a new country. All right, this concludes part 1 of our review. Thank you for your help, Jack.
You're welcome.
You did a mediocre job.
Oh, that's very nice. It'd be